Americans now owe an all-time high of $1.65 trillion in auto loan debt, and $1,000 monthly car payments are the new normal, which is kind of wild. So in this video, I want to talk about being car poor, and if you or someone you know currently has a car or is thinking about buying one, watching this video could save you literally thousands of dollars. Alright, so first, the meaning of car poor is when someone spends so much money on a car that it negatively impacts their finances, and this is a great example I found on Reddit. This guy has a good job, but most of his money goes to his car. So yeah, even though he can technically make the payments, right, he's still considered car poor because it's straining his finances, and he's potentially living paycheck to paycheck, which puts him at financial risk. And unfortunately, many people are currently or will be in a similar situation because they don't know the true cost of owning a car. And hint, it's way more than you think. So let's do a case study to find out what the actual true cost of owning a car is. And in this example, I'm gonna use the 2024 Toyota RAV4, which has a starting retail price of around $30,000. The first cost that we need to account for is gonna be the car loan itself. As of 2025, the average term for a new car loan is around 5 to 6 years. And depending on your credit score, your interest rates for that loan can range from 10% all the way to 20.92%. So let's say you have an average credit score of 720, right? That means you can get a 5-year car loan at 12.52% interest rate, meaning you're looking to pay around $680 per month for the RAV4 for the next 60 months. So already you're gonna end up paying over $40K for a car that retails at $30K, and even then, this is just the beginning. The next biggest expense is depreciation, which is basically when the value of an asset goes down because of wear and tear in time. And for a new car, the depreciation clock starts the second you drive it off the lot. So in the first year, a new car typically loses around 20% of its value thanks to depreciation. Now for our 2024 RAV4, Kelley Blue Book estimates that it's gonna lose around $7,000 in value in its first year. And in its fifth year, it's estimated to be worth only around 14.5K, which is about half of its original value. Now moving on, next is car insurance. And nowadays, Americans pay around $1,700 a year for full coverage auto insurance, which I think is pretty expensive. Later on in the video, I'm gonna share one of my tricks on how I save hundreds on car insurance. But for this case, our RAV4, we're looking around $11,000 for car insurance for over 5 years, which is roughly around $2,200 a year. So even more expensive than the average. And the next expense that everyone complains about is gas, all right? So Americans spend about $204 on gas each month, which adds up to around $2,448 a year. Now for our RAV4, Kelley Blue Book estimates that we're looking at around $9,200 for gas over 5 years, which is around $1,840 a year. All right, so next is maintenance and repairs. Now, Americans spend about $126 a month for maintenance, repairs, and tires for a new car, so around $1,500 a year. Now, for our RAV4, across the next 5 years, Kelley Blue Book estimates that we're looking at around $30,900 for maintenance, plus $1,700 in unexpected repairs that are not covered in warranty. So in total, around 5.6K for 5 years, which is roughly $1,100 a year. Then we gotta tack on other costs that we can't forget about, such as state fees, right? Like sales tax, license and registrations and all that jazz. Now, these do depend on where you live, but for our RAV4 is estimated to cost around $4,800 in state fees for 5 years, which means around $960 a year. So if we add every single thing up, what is the actual true cost to own this car? So first, Kelley Blue Book, their calculation I would say is on the lower end because they're using in their financing terms around a 5% interest rate for the car loan, which as we all know is a bit outdated. So if we use the average 2025 interest rate, which is 12.52%, then the true cost to own this $30,000 RAV4 car is around $50,000 over 5 years, which is about 10K a year. Now, the median salary in the US is around $42K per year. So I want you to just imagine owning a car and the cost of ownership every year takes up around 24% of your gross salary. Now, your gross salary is pre-tax, meaning after you get taxed and you get your take-home pay, that's gonna take up an even larger percentage. Now, the problem of having so much of your money going towards car payments is that it's gonna be really hard to save money or build wealth if you are car poor and you're constantly living outside of your means. And it probably doesn't help that all your other expenses are also going up as well. For example, one thing that has gotten a lot more expensive is your cell phone bill. But thankfully, this isn't the case with today's sponsor, Helium Mobile. Helium Mobile is the only carrier that offers free 5G cell phone service, meaning you can immediately save hundreds of dollars every month. And they're currently offering a new Zero plan that gives you 3 gigs of 5G data, 100 minutes of calls, and 300 texts each month for free, so you don't have to worry about high phone bills anymore. And if you're always streaming or texting and you need more, don't worry, Helium Mobile's got you. At just $15 a month, you can get 10 gigs of 5G data, unlimited calls, and texts with their Air plan, or at just $30 a month, you can get unlimited everything with their Infinity plan. Plus, they use a nationwide 5G network, so you'll always have coverage. The best part is you can earn points called Cloud Points to redeem for gift cards for things like Airbnb stays, Uber rides, Apple products, and more. All you gotta do is use your phone and share anonymized location data to help improve Helium Mobile's network coverage. So if you're ready to save hundreds of dollars each month, check out Helium Mobile with the link down below. Download the app and use promo code Vincent to instantly get $10 in Cloud Points when you sign up for these plans. All right, so if we know being car poor is bad, how the heck did we get to this point where people are out here driving $90,000 cars with just $15 in their bank account? Well, there are 3 major things that we can blame for this. The first thing we can blame are car companies, okay? So car companies, they spend billions of dollars in marketing every year trying to make you want to buy their cars. And I bet you $1 million, you probably don't even notice 90% of these ads. Like sure, you know about the TV car commercials during like your Hulu ad break or whatever. I always get them, I don't know why, I'm not looking for a new car. But what most people don't know is that every movie nowadays is essentially a car commercial. For example, in the movie Twister, red Dodge Ram; in the movie Barbie, blue Chevy; and yes, this clip is literally from the movie. In Jurassic World, a Benz. And the reason these car companies are so subtle and sneaky with their marketing tactics is because they don't want you to think that you're buying a car. They want you to feel like you're buying a new personality, or enhancing your personality, or upgrading your lifestyle. Do you want to look cool? Do you want to look classy, chic, or even you want to look tough, right? And what better place to advertise these kinds of emotions and feelings than in those types of movies? The next to blame is our flex culture, all right? So our society has attributed success and status to owning a really nice car. And just the other day, I was having a conversation with my friend for research purposes for this video because he recently bought a BMW car, and he said, and I quote, he got it because it gets the girls. And I just looked at him like, what? But can we blame him, right? We get pressured everywhere we turn. On social media, if you look up #newcar, you can see a ton of pictures of people flexing with their ride, or even with our neighbors, our friends, and our coworkers, right? There's actually a really interesting study that I found that when one of your neighbors, right, they win the lottery, people in the same neighborhood, they will buy a luxury car and even risk going bankrupt to get it. And this is all thanks to our flex culture, right? Because people hate feeling like we are doing less well than those around us. And you know, it sounds silly, right? It sounds really silly when I talk about it now, but honestly, this happens to the best of us. We as humans are hardwired to compare ourselves to those around us. All right, so the next thing to blame, car salesmen, all right? I'm sure you agree. Car salesmen, they use shady tactics and tricks to get you to spend as much as possible without even realizing it. Like when I bought my car around like 10 years ago, right? I remember the salesperson kept trying to steer the conversation to what monthly payment are you comfortable with, rather than talking about the overall total price of the car. And in retrospect, I kind of now know why, right? And it's because it's easier for people to say yes to paying, let's say $500 a month for a $30,000 car than saying yes to paying $30,000 for a car, flat. And if salespeople think that even $500 a month is too much money, no problem, all right? They're just gonna stretch out the length of the loan even longer from 72 months to 84 months or 96 months. So now you are just paying $350 a month for the car, right? And sure, you are going to pay less in monthly payments, but you're gonna end up paying a lot more in interest. So now, what can you do, right? How can you enjoy owning a car without letting it own you? There are a bunch of different strategies, but these are the 5 easiest things you can do today to potentially save thousands of dollars, and they apply whether you already have a car or you are looking to buy a car. First, if you already have a car, one of the biggest expenses that people often overlook is car insurance. Because many people don't know this about car insurance, but it's just like another bill, like your phone bill or your internet bill. Meaning, one, your rates will always go up, and it's already been up 60% in the past 4 years for certain areas. But more importantly, number two, you can negotiate your car insurance rate. And a trick that I use to save a lot of money on car insurance is that I will mark down on my calendar every 6 months to a year. And on that date, I'm gonna go out and shop for different rates at different car insurance providers, right? And I've realized that places will offer you similar or equal insurance to your current provider and will undercut the prices to get you to sign on as a customer. Nowadays, instead of just like calling around, I use an online comparison tool to do all this for me. I filled this out like last year, literally took me a minute to do, and I ended up saving a couple $100 already. If you're interested in the tool that I use, I'll leave a link in the description down below. The point is, if you're not doing this every 6 to 12 months, you are literally leaving hundreds of dollars, if not thousands, in savings on the table. Next, learning basic car maintenance on YouTube can save you a ton of money in the long term, and it's also really good to know in case there's a zombie apocalypse. Shout out to The Last of Us Season 2. Is anyone watching it? So for example, an oil change can cost you around $100, at least here in New York. And usually you want to do it twice a year, depending on how much you drive, right? So let's say you're going to be driving for like 50 years, and throughout your lifetime, you're going to be doing around 100 oil changes, give or take, which is going to cost you around $10,000, assuming the price doesn't go up, right? So if you just spend 30 minutes, right? Just 30 minutes learning how to do it on YouTube once, you can easily save $10,000 throughout your lifetime. Now, other simple things that you can easily learn online, and I know this because I learned it online and I am not a car person at all, but other things such as replacing air filters, your windshield wipers, your car batteries, rotating your tires, I haven't done that yet, or replacing your bulbs. The point is, over time, doing this yourself can lead to multiple tens of thousands of dollars in savings alone. Next, and this is gonna save a lot of money, but if you are looking to buy a car, buy the car used at its optimal time. So what does that mean, right? So looking at the car depreciation curve, the optimal time to buy a used car is within the 5-year range, at the 5-year range. At this time, this is when the car already has most of its depreciation already happening, right? It's already built in, and which means you would pay less in sales taxes, it's gonna be cheaper to insure the car, and within the 5 years, it's still relatively new enough where it's not gonna require as much maintenance and repair costs and expenses. And of course, different cars are gonna have different depreciation time curves, but the point here is buy a used car if you wanna save a lot of money. And I know, right, that new car smells pretty damn good, but heck, just buy a new car smell air freshener or spray. They're like 10, 15, 20 bucks, and you save tens of thousands. Next, moving on, 2 car buying rules that you should be aware of so you don't get screwed over and fall victim to being a car poor. So I mentioned earlier, right, how dealerships, they talk about the cost of the car in monthly payments. Well, the first rule, the first trick is you want to flip the script and demand to talk about it from the total cost of the car with the interest, with your loan, so you can get the full picture. The next rule, and this is probably the most important one, is if you cannot, right, if you can't comfortably afford to save an amount equal to your future car payments in this very moment, then you probably can't afford that car, right? So for example, if you are about to commit paying $700 a month for car payments, ask yourself, can you currently realistically put $700 aside each month in your savings account or your investment account? And if not, then move on to the next car, right? Like, how are you gonna pay for the future loan if you can't even save that amount now? Next, you need to reframe what success looks like for you, regardless if you have a car or not right now, okay? Like, ask yourself, what is truly important to you? Do you wanna look wealthy and rich so you can flex online to your friends and brag to your coworkers? Or do you actually want to be financially free? Do you actually wanna be comfortable? So for me, I couldn't care less about what other people think, because haters gonna hate. They're gonna hate if you're doing well, they're gonna hate if you're not doing well. For me, success, financial success for me is having enough money to do what I love, where I want, and when I want to do it, right? That is the meaning of financial freedom for me. And once you know what success means to you, you're not going to fall and succumb to flex culture anymore or try to impress people that don't matter. You're gonna start realizing that every dollar that you don't shove into an excessive car payment is a dollar towards those dreams. And that, my friends, leads me to something that you've got to start accepting. It's that even if you are trying your hardest to save money or to avoid being carb poor, sometimes it might feel like you're not doing enough. And that might be because you aren't doing these things immediately after you get paid. Click here for the 8 things you need to do starting today with your paycheck.